What's poppin'? It's Najee Mom. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be telling you guys how I got accepted into the #1 public university in America. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to flex. I just want to give some words of encouragement before I start. I know the college application process can be very intimidating and like scary. If you are feeling discouraged about the whole college application process, I want you to not be discouraged, because literally I was discouraged and I shouldn't have been, because I'm here now, you feel me? There were people that was like, you're not gonna get in. When I got accepted, there were people talking about, how did she get accepted? I got accepted because she's a minority and Berkeley needs more minority students. Like, people just trying to downplay me as a person and like my academic skills and just my skills period. I want you guys to just go for it, you know what I mean? Don't apply with a negative mindset. Don't be like, I'm probably not gonna get in, blah, 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 because that's the mindset I had while applying. I was like, I'm probably not gonna get accepted, but I'm just gonna apply just to see, you know what I mean? And then I got accepted. So literally, do not underestimate yourself. You can do whatever you wanna do. I'm attending the #1 public university in the US, and the Black population there is 1%. You can do anything you put your mind to. I'm a living testimony. But if you want to know how I got accepted into UC Berkeley, then keep on watching. Throughout high school, I maintained a pretty good GPA. I had a 3.7 overall. So I just want to debunk the myth that you need like a 4.0 or like a 4.5 GPA to get into UC Berkeley. I know it's like a really top school, and that like intimidates people. It makes them think like you have to be like super smart to get into the school, but you don't. I know people that go to Berkeley right now that had like a 3.0, 3.1, 3.2. Some people even have like a 2 point something that attend that school. It's not completely based on your level of intelligence. I don't want to scare anyone away, because honestly, people that read your applications are looking at more than your academic excellence, your academic achievements. You want to make sure that you're involved in like school activities. So for me in high school, I wasn't someone who participated in like club activities all the time. I honestly wasn't in any clubs, but I was a part of this social justice academy, and we like basically helped the community. So that was my community service, and I also talked about that in my personal insight questions. I will get to the PIQs a little bit later in this video. In terms of like community service hours and like being involved in your community and doing some sort of extracurricular activity, I feel like as long as you're involved in something, you're good. You don't necessarily have to be in every single club. Like, this is the thing about college applications and why like overworking yourself in high school is unnecessary, because I know people who literally were in like 6 different clubs. They were in like Key Club, like Red Cross, all these different clubs, super involved in school, super active, but didn't get accepted to Berkeley. Versus me, someone who literally was only involved in one school organization, and I did get into Berkeley. Another thing about like the whole misconception about like you have to be super duper smart to get into Berkeley, like I literally know people who had 4.0s, higher than 4.0 GPAs, that didn't get accepted to Berkeley. Once they found out that I got into Berkeley, they were like, how did she get into Berkeley? My GPA is higher than hers, blah, 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 blah. People was mad, but people are always gonna be mad. I'm just saying that to say that you literally don't need to be super like hard on yourself if your GPA isn't extremely high, because I'm telling you, like, you don't need to have the highest GPA. You honestly just have to be like a well-rounded student. To sum all of that up, if you're doing at least one activity, you're good. I'm not sure how young my viewers are watching this. If there are any freshmen or sophomores or even juniors watching this video, but mainly freshmen and sophomore, try to maintain like a good GPA right now, because there's people that, I mean, honestly, like if you don't do well your freshman year, you can definitely bounce back by taking like summer classes to replace the bad grades that you got. But I honestly recommend getting a good grade the first time, so you won't have to like schedule time to make up work, because honestly you're gonna take away from extracurricular activities that you can be doing or like community service hours that you can be putting in. Make sure you just do good the first time, but don't be discouraged if you do get a bad grade in a certain class. Make up that grade. Okay, I'm actually gonna talk about my entire high school experience from 9th grade up to 12th grade. What I did and how what I did contributed to me getting accepted. 9th grade, my GPA was like a 3.6, I think. 9th grade, I took a summer class. I didn't have to take it, but I wanted to get extra units. Dual enrollment is one of the best things that you can do as a high school student. Dual enrollment is basically taking college classes outside of your high school classes. For me, I took a class in the summer. It was this like career planning class. It was like 5 units, super easy. That added 5 credits to my transcript. I took another class that next summer, which was like some sort of like criminal justice class, and I got another 5 credits. So those extra credits, if colleges look at your transcript and see that you've participated in dual enrollment and you've taken college courses for extra credits, they'll recognize that you're like a dedicated student and that you are invested in like your education basically. 11th grade, I took 2 AP classes. Here's the thing about AP classes, not necessarily like mandatory, like you don't have to take an AP class. If you're able to take an AP class, like you can handle the extra work, like the extra challenge, then I do challenge you to try an AP class. Don't do it if you really don't believe that you can handle that much work, because I'm going to tell you it is a lot of work. It's kind of similar to a college course load. The readings and the writing that we had to do definitely prepared me for college level English now. I got a B in AP English. I also took AP Calculus. AP Calculus, I never want to do that again. Like AP Calculus was literally the worst subject I've ever taken. I wanted to literally die every single time I went to AP Calculus. It was just a really bad experience for me. I would never do it again. For me, like AP English was totally fine. Like I did that, no issue. The thing about AP Calculus is I got a D in that class. I honestly was not prepared for that class. I didn't get any support from my teacher. I didn't get any support from my classmates. I was kind of like the outcast in that class. Like nobody spoke to me. No one helped me when I like had a question. I would always raise my hand and the teacher would never call on me. It was like I was invisible in that class. And I don't want to say it's because I'm black, but you know what I'm saying? I think it was because I'm black. Let's be real here, you know? I'm in a predominantly like white and Asian class. I'm the only black girl in there. Nobody wants to help the only black girls, so you know, they kind of like isolated me. But you know what I'm saying, I got to Berkeley, so whatever. I was honestly really sad because I thought my chances of getting into like a good school were like done, but I realized that like I could take the class again at a community college and get a higher grade. So that's exactly what I did. I took the exact same course at a community college and I got a way better grade because I was getting the support that I actually needed. Okay, so let's talk about AP testing. If you are a student that's enrolled in an AP class, you're gonna have to take an AP test in May. Now, let me just be completely honest. I didn't do good on the AP test. This is one of the reasons why I thought I wasn't going to get into any schools, why I was so surprised that I got into Berkeley. I honestly didn't perform as well as I wanted to. I'm pretty sure I got a 3 on the English test and like a 1 on the calculus test. I'm telling you, like I literally sucked. I honestly knew I wasn't going to do well on the math test. I didn't do that well on the AP test and I thought my chances of getting into a good school were done, but I thought wrong. The SAT/ACT, whichever one you want to take, those scores are extremely important, very critical to determining what college you're gonna go to. I got about like a 12 something on my SAT, which honestly isn't like the highest score. I'm pretty sure the highest score you can get is like a 1600, I'm pretty sure. But I wasn't discouraged because my score was like lower than what I wanted to get. I was aiming for like a 14. It's okay, like I'm still going to UC Berkeley now, so it really doesn't matter. Before actually taking the SAT, I went to like this SAT study session basically. It was like a month or 2 month long class basically where I was studying the SAT book. There was an instructor. It was a class of about like 20 people and we would just go through this SAT review book. The instructor gave us like tips and how to ace the SAT, how to optimize our score. I can honestly say that the review class that I went to definitely helped. Your college application process. This is the fun part. Most important part of your college application process are your personal insight questions. This is where the application readers, I don't know what they're called, but the people that read your applications, this is where they can kind of get to know you through your writing. So you want to make sure that your personal insight questions are just that, personal, because if you're not being personal in your responses, how will the person reading know if you are the right person that should be going to whatever school? For me, in my personal insight question, I'm pretty sure you guys know that you can pick from like a list of questions. I picked the ones that were most personal to me. So what I did is I connected each personal insight question to something that happened in my life that kind of shapes who I am today. So for example, one of the questions was a question about self-expression or something like that, and I connected it to my grandma that passed. Basically talked about how she inspired me to start my business. By the way, my major is business, so I connected all of that and made it kind of hard to deny me because I gave the admissions officer like a reason to accept me. The fact that I'm working towards a business degree shows the admissions officer that I'm dedicated to business because I already have a business. I hope that makes sense. I'm kind of bad at talking. I'm better at like typing and like writing stuff out. Oh, I also talked about social justice and like the state of this country right now. I talked about Trump. I talked about the election. I talked about police brutality and mass shootings and like Black Lives Matter and stuff, which again ties into who I am as a person, because in the community service part of my application, I talked about being a member of the Social Justice Academy. If you guys remember earlier, I mentioned that, you know, we did like protests and were active in our community about like fighting for justice and making our community better. So the fact that I talked about that previously in my community service part of the application, then I connected it back to my PIQs, it just made everything come full circle. So let me summarize that. PIQs, they need to be personal. Make sure you connect them to your personal life. Make sure what you talk about in your PIQs sort of connect to what you talked about earlier in the community service, extracurricular activities part of it. Make sure what you talk about in your personal insight question really give the admissions officer a good idea of who you are as a person without them actually talking to you directly. You want to treat like the personal insight question section of your application as like an interview. You don't want to be super technical. You don't want to use super large words. You don't have to try to convince anyone that you're super smart. Just be yourself, speak confidently, but normally, okay? Like I didn't use any big words. Like I talked as if they were right here. I didn't ask anyone to write me a letter of recommendation, so you don't really have to do that. It might help your case a little bit, but you really don't have to. Okay, so about your personal insight questions, you want to make sure you have at least like 2 people read it, proofread it for you, give you like feedback on what you could do better, what you could add, what you could remove. If you guys need help with like your personal insight questions and your essays, you can definitely email me. My email is najaiman@gmail.com. I will gladly read all of you guys' PIQs because I want you guys to succeed. I want you guys to go to Berkeley. I want you guys to get accepted into every single school that you apply to. Don't hesitate to send me your PIQs. Share them with me through Google Docs and I will read them, proofread them, do all that good stuff. Admission officers are basically trying to find as many well-rounded students as possible. If in your application, all you're talking about is how good of a student you are, how smart you are, how good your grades are, that you have a 4.0, blah, 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 they're not gonna really consider you. They'll choose a student with like a 3.5 GPA that participated in the school activities, participated in clubs, did community service. They'll accept that student over a student who has like a 4.0 and just dedicates themselves to school but didn't do any type of extracurricular activities. Obviously you need to have a decent GPA to get in. Like you can't get in with like a 1.2 GPA, but like don't think you're gonna get in just because you have a 4.0. You have to be well-rounded, you have to do things, you know? Like again, like there's people at my school that push themselves so hard and like work themselves to the point of exhaustion. Literally there's students that I know that took like 6 AP classes, dedicated themselves to homework and tests and all that, but they didn't have anything else going on for them. These same students applied to Berkeley just like I did, but I got accepted over them. Make sure that you are well-rounded. If you're already in the process of your applications and you kind of already have started writing your PIQs, if you haven't talked about like every aspect of yourself, make sure to go back and like kind of include like things that make you you. Go back and make sure you're not trying to sound super over intelligent and you're not using like 10 syllable words. Just for like perspective and like understanding the college application process, I'll tell you guys what schools like got accepted to aside from Berkeley. So I'm gonna go down the list because I want to give you guys like a good understanding of like what you can do with like stats like mine. So I got accepted to Pepperdine, San Diego State, San Jose State, SF State, Sac State, UC Davis, UC Santa Barbara, UC Irvine, Casa East Bay. I got accepted to one school in New York, but I'm forgetting the name of it. Let me say that I got rejected from UCLA. I got rejected from UC San Diego. I just want you guys to know that like you can put in a lot of work and like you can still get rejected from like a school that you wanted to go to. Yeah, so hopefully like you guys learned a little bit of something about the college application process from this video. If you have any more questions, feel free to comment them down below and I will definitely respond. Please share your PIQs with me, najaiman@gmail.com, through Google Docs. If you're still not subscribed, please subscribe. I would love for you to join the family. I don't make college videos all the time. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you learned something, give it a thumbs up. I will talk to you guys on my next video. Bye.
bitch wanna bang. We are not friends, little bitch, I just watch it change. My chopper say, didn't know you before, then you are not gay.